That's my wife, Elise. God, isn't she beautiful?
Oh, thanks, babe.
And that's me. I know, I'm a very lucky man. She's basically perfect in every way, except maybe for one thing.
What?
She's very historically challenged.
Oh, that's so heavy.
Okay, that's fair.
I mean, let's be honest. She doesn't know her 1066 from her 1776. And that's a problem, because for me, history isn't just important.
It's life.
Yes, exactly, life. And that's why I am on a mission to prove to her, and maybe to you too, that history is amazing.
Okay, fine. Show me this amazing history then.
Well, I will. Is your face on?
Theo, just cut to it.
So, babe, picture this. 425 years ago, the great ship, the Mayflower, would have been docked right there. The Mayflower, you know about the Mayflower, don't you, babe? You were taught it in school. What were you taught?
That it brought everybody over to the US.
Well, it didn't bring everybody over, but it brought the Pilgrim Fathers over.
Yeah.
About 106 of them all told. But this was its home port, right here in Rotherhithe, London. And right there, just where you can see there's a Union Jack and Star Spangled Banner, that is where the Mayflower Pub is. And it claims to be the oldest riverside pub in London, and that is disputable, and it's disputed by the Prospect of Witney pub, which is just over the other side of the River Thames. But for today, as we're on the south side, we're on the south side of the river in Rotherhithe, we will be on the Mayflower side, and we will say, yes, it's the oldest pub. But this pub down here is reputedly right where the mooring spot of the Mayflower, the ship, was. So it's just connected, 400 years of history right there. I know, what a treat, baby, what a treat. Fancy a pint for the Pilgrim Fathers?
Yep.
Let's go do it. And then right there, babe, there she blows, the Mayflower Pub. The Mayflower Pub. Now, importantly, the pub actually hasn't always been called the Mayflower. Back in the day, now there's been a pub on this site from, they say, about 1550, but back then it was known as the Ship Inn, and it was the Ship Inn until about 1780 when it burnt down, and then they built it up again and it was called the Spread Eagle, and it was known as the Spread Eagle up until 1957, around about that time, when there was a big hullabaloo about the Mayflower because someone had built a replica of the Mayflower, and it was big press, and the owners of the pub thought they'd cash in on that and rename their pub the Mayflower. But the reason why it's so important to Mayflower history is that allegedly and reputedly the captain of the Mayflower, Christopher Jones, he was apparently a part owner of this pub, the Ship Inn, which stands on this site. Pretty cool, huh? Cheers. Okay, babe, so a few things to note about why the Mayflower is so important and why it's so iconic in American history, your history.
Yeah.
So they reckon that of the 106 people that were on the Mayflower that settled in New England, they reckon they might have up to 35 million descendants to this day.
God.
I know, and you, being a proud New England girl, right?
Yeah.
You are most probably descended from someone on the Mayflower.
Yeah.
And what that means is that they have a book inside here, which is called the Mayflower Book, and anybody that is a descendant of the Mayflower, you're supposed to be able to sign it. Now, if they can find the book, that is, because we were just in there and they couldn't find the book. But the other really cool thing about this pub is it has a distinction. It's not just a pub, it's also a post office. And you can buy British and American stamps here. Only place I think you can do that in the world. And apparently you can send letters. And we did just get some stamps, and American stamps even, and there were some really random ones, but we got these ones. Well, you did. What did you say about them?
I said they're going to be useless to us.
They are going to be useless, but we have them, and they only cost £1 each. So I think that's a bargain.
That is not a bargain.
Is it?
Those in the US would be 50 cents a piece.
Damn. We're done with the Mayflower Pub. It's been great. We had a great pie. You had some mussels. Lovely, absolutely delicious. But the other thing we've got to see is we've got to go see the churchyard just behind us of the St. Mary's Church, Rotherhithe. And you know who's buried there? You know how much I love churchyards, but you know who's buried there? Christopher Jones, Captain Christopher Jones.
Of the Mayflower,
Of the Mayflower flame, who had part owned of this pub.
Wow.
And he's buried, literally, turn the camera. How about that? Let's go find.
Love it.
Let's go find
find
Captain
Chris.
Christopher.
Christopher.
Jones. Christopher.
Where are you?
Now, Christopher Jones. The thing to remember about him is why did he take on this voyage? Because he was the Mayflower was a sort of a trading ship, and it done many trips to France, getting wine. They were big into the wine trade, Christopher Jones, and he'd also gone to the Baltic and Norway, but he'd never sailed to America, and it's a long old way for him to go. But they reckon that he himself was a Puritan or had puritanical sympathies. So somebody came to him and said, would you mind taking these Puritans to New England? And he thought, yeah, I'll do that. That sounds like a good idea and a good deed. And he took them, and they started off here in Rotherhithe, and they picked up 65 passengers, and then they sailed round to Southampton, where they got the rest of the Pilgrim Fathers. Those are the ones who'd been in Leiden. They met up with a ship called the Speedwell, so there's two ships, but the Speedwell sprung a leak and had to go back, so they all had to cram onto the Mayflower. And the last port of call in the UK was Plymouth. Plymouth
Rock.
Well, Plymouth in Devon, I believe, and then that's why they named it over there, Plymouth
Rock.
Exactly,
Wow.
exactly. So it's all connected, but it was a really difficult voyage. It took them, I think, over 100 days. They were battling because they ended up going so late in the year, you see, so late in the year. They ended up sailing
Must
in
have been freezing
September.
cold.
It was bloody cold. They were in September, and it took them over 100 days. So they had to overwinter in New England. And they weren't actually heading to New England. They were trying to get to Virginia, but they got blown off course and they ended up on Cape Cod.
Wow.
Cape Cod, which I'd love to visit with you sometime, next time
Yeah.
we're over. Have you ever been to Cape Cod?
No.
Well, we're visiting it. Now, Christopher Jones, he's buried in this graveyard. This is a memorial to him and to the men of the Mayflower and the people of the Mayflower. And I don't know if this is supposed to be Christopher Jones and he's holding a baby, but whatever. The thing about Christopher Jones and his crew is when they got there, it was so, like, they were all suffering. The crew, the passengers. Something like half his crew died. Of a crew of about 40 or 50 of them, half of them died. And so many of the
After arriving?
After arriving, and so many of the first passengers of the Mayflower also perished, probably from scurvy, other illnesses going around at the time, and they couldn't quite know what was going on. But Christopher Jones and the crew had to stay in New England for about 5 to 6 months. They had initially planned to go straight back home, but they had to stay there to try and recuperate. And when they did get back home, Christopher Jones, he wasn't a young man by any means. He was in his 50s, and he died a year later. He never really recovered. His health never recovered. And another plaque right up here, memorializing.
Memorializing.
Memorializing. What did I say originally?
Memorializing.
Memorialize. So we know we're memorializing here. We're memorializing. We're memorializing the men and the women and the children of the Mayflower here, because so many of them did die. Like literally, like half of them.
Wow.
Christopher Jones is buried somewhere in this graveyard, but like so many graveyards, we don't know where he is today. It's been lost to history, but there's a memorial, there's a statue over there, and there's a lovely blue plaque. I think there's another plaque inside the church as well. You better go have a look. Ah, over there. And here it is, the plaque to Christopher Jones, the captain of the Mayflower. He never knew the impact he made on the world.
Yeah.
He would never have known. He was just a poor ship captain. And the good deed that he did transporting the Pilgrim Fathers over to the New World, the story and the legacy behind all of that, the 35 million descendants of that journey. This is it. This is where it all began and where it ended for Captain Christopher Jones. Hats off to the man.
Yeah.
So there you have it, babe. That was the Mayflower history. tune in for the next one. Please like and sub as I drag this very tired girl around to various historical sites, mostly, well, sometimes against her will. Do the thing, do the thing.